Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. While the dominant belief that got Gabby out of jail on Days of Our Lives for Lee's murder was that Gil killed him, if we're being honest, we don't believe it. It's simply too out of left field, and while we're delighted Gabby was let free, we never really imagined it would happen. Of course, Bobby is claiming to have knowledge on a murder, and based on the preview for this week, it appears that he will be talking about Lee. On the one hand, perhaps he merely wants to play Hannibal Lecter to get Jada's favor. Perhaps he doesn't know anything about the murder. However, we admit that the suggestion that he was engaged in Lee's death is fascinating. Everett appeared immediately before the murder, which seems fishy. However, despite his coy reaction to Jada's question about whether Bobby committed the crime, it appears unlikely that he did it himself. It would surely not help him win over Jada. Also, what would his motivation have been? So what if he just observed something that could help the case? Perhaps he went to see Lee for whatever reason and noticed someone leaving the scene of the crime. If that's the case, we're back to the main question, who killed Lee? We've got a theory, and it's a doozy. According to Soap Opera Digest, Connie returns to the canvas on Friday, July 5th. Spoilers indicate that Jada and Rafe are investigating Bobby's claims. Remember Connie? She was Sloane's client, tossed a drink at Chad for cheating on Abigail, and last we saw her, she was on a terrible date with Lee. And she's reappearing at this exact moment? Coincidence? Maybe. But perhaps not. When she and Lee went on that blind date, Connie was overjoyed that he could be an attempted murderer. Lee, of course, pretended to be innocent, just to have Connie express her disappointment. She adored true crime and bad boys and had never been more turned on than when she was listening to the podcast about how he persuaded Harris into attempting to murder Stefan. That's more than a bit concerning, is it? Heck, it has all the characteristics of a deranged fan, waiting for the least provocation to tip her over into homicide. We never saw how the date ended or how she felt when Lee dropped her off. When she first appeared in that edited scene, head writer Ron Carlivati revealed she hurled a drink at Chad for cheating on Abigail. Julie Dove previously told Soaps.com that she understood Connie's motivations for attacking Chad. "I'd had someone cheat on me before," she admitted. "It broke my heart. And I really tapped into that during the speech. And I truly felt it at the moment." If she was channeling it, Connie was also feeling it. That is okay in and of itself, but combine personal anguish with a fascination with all things murder, and you have a potentially hazardous combination. Perhaps Connie has been jilted in the past, and such loss of love drives her insane. Perhaps her and Lee's date ended disastrously, and we never saw it. Connie may have sought to reconcile with him for months, but he refused, leading her to snap. Bobby could have seen Connie leave the scene of the crime. He was new in town, and Lee was a well-known, albeit disgraced, businessman, so Bobby may have thought he was the ideal person to approach for help establishing himself. Perhaps he had ulterior motives for visiting him. In any case, all that was required was a quick glance and the information could be saved for later use. Bobby wouldn't have wanted to say anything back when he first arrived, long before anyone realized he existed. What are your thoughts? It appears that we are continuously learning fresh details about who could have killed Lee, but Connie would be an excellent scapegoat if the program did not want to send a significant character to jail. Stefan welcomes Gabby home at last. EJ exclaims, unenthusiastically, "You're free." How wonderful! He rushes in for a hug, but she puts a hand up and says, not feeling it. EJ, Gabby and Stefan quickly develop sexual chemistry in the bedroom and shower. Brady meets Holly and Tate at the Salem Inn after prom and tells Teresa that he wants to send Tate to a lacrosse camp for the summer. He believes Tate will be out of Holly's sphere. Fireworks are ready to go out, and not just overhead when Tate and Holly kiss. Tate is outraged, but Brady insists on going nonetheless. Tate calls Holly and invites her to accompany him on his escape. What will she say? Finally, Marlena and Stephanie struggle for Everett's life, attempting to free him from Bobby's influence. Bobby says, no one will ever see Everett again. Stephanie grabs him by the arm and says, "Let him out, you bastard." Finally, Jada pays a visit to her ex Bobby at the hospital. He taunts her by offering to assist her in solving minor crimes. Just a murder. Say what? Who killed whom, and what role does Bobby play in all of this? Thursday was a fun, highlight episode for me, and it relied on character interactions rather than major dramatic reveals. First and foremost, I absolutely loved Stefan's dressing down of EJ. Rather than watching him skulk around and smugly plot, it was good to simply yell in EJ's face that he had one day to get Gabby out of prison or his house of cards will crumble. Instead of the beaten hound I imagine he has been since Gabby went to prison, he had a fire in him. We finally got a sight of Gabby. I've already heard people groaning, and all I can say is to stop and give her a chance. Gabby leans toward Stefan from across the prison visitors' table. They both smirk as he looks down at his phone. Yes, Camila Banus played the character for a long time, but actresses change in daylight, and I'm curious to see what Sherry Jimenez does with it. All signs are that Gabby's stint in prison will have long-term consequences, so now is a good time to reintroduce the character. And I enjoyed everything about Xander and Nicole's conversation. So much so that it makes me unhappy that we didn't get to see more of these two sooner, despite the fact that Xander owns the publication where Nicole works. Trading barbs about snatching babies before coming to terms with each other, their mother's difficulties, and their children was a great full-circle moment. And it was enjoyable. Also, did anyone notice Brady putting it, nearly, all together with Teresa? Anyone? At least someone noticed that Teresa got her hands on Victor's bag before anyone else. Another noteworthy day was Tuesday, when Leo and Diana had a confrontation. Greg Ricard is a superb actor, and while he excels at breezy humorous roles, he is capable of much more. And we got to witness it this week, alongside Judith Chapman's outstanding performance. The show is determined to keep Leo around, so it's about time they fleshed him out. Diana leaps across the visitors' table toward Leo. He leans back with a typed-up sheet of paper. You can't change his personality without also changing his character, but you can transform him into more than simply a thirsty, quippy gay man. Also, I'm not sure how I feel about Dr. Green. On the one hand, a healthy love interest would be beneficial for Leo. However, so would a buddy. He has none. And we saw glimpses of Diana's own internal struggle. It was as if she was pushing herself to continue being cruel to Leo, and if she could be rehabilitated from over-the-top villain to more of what she was in the 1980s, I believe she could be a tremendous addition to the canvas. The program has kept up its drumbeat of enticing exits. Johnny just reassured Chanel that he is not going for California. That was lovely of her to tell him to go. But come on, Chanel, your spouse is not leaving you after a miscarriage, but now Eric is informing everyone that he is leaving. However, Steve Burton and Harris are the only confirmed exits at this time. Monday was his final day. If Eric is leaving, I doubt it will be for long because the paternity reveal cannot happen without him or without bringing him back to Salem. How quickly will the disclosure happen? Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.